What's up, guys? This is Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, and the broader markets. I'm going to talk about some key levels to watch from what's happening to the markets thus far. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I'm saying as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link that's down below, or sign up with my QR code that's right over here. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100, you're going to get $20 of free Nvda stock. If you deposit $2,000, you're going to get $50 worth of the stock. Deposit $10,000 to get $300 worth, and deposit $50,000 to get $1,000 of free Nvidia stock. You will also qualify for an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash, which includes a 4.1% APY base rate plus a 4% APY extra for 3 months. So if you want free Nvidia stock, please check out my link down below to get this exclusive offer. Anyways, now let's talk about what's happening with the overall market. So right now, the market's breaking out. So we're making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, and just breaking out. Now we're going to see if we come down just a bit to retest the previous all-time high, that 542 to 540 area, before we continue to squeeze higher, or if we're about to just not even see much of a dip, we don't even dip much, we just continue to rally. So for now, the market remains bullish, at least nonetheless. When it comes to our economic calendar, keep in mind that we have crude oil data coming out at 10:30 a.m., which is very, very minor. Then we have a couple of Fed speakers, but nothing too significant, at least for today. We have more significant data tomorrow for PPI. So keep that in mind. There's not really a whole lot else that's coming out, at least for the time being. When the CPI data came out, we saw core inflation actually go up. Core CPI was hot, and we actually saw the hottest inflationary numbers we've seen in over 6 months. So there's a big increase in inflation, especially in core. But despite that, all items CPI was flat. So all items CPI was flat, but core did go up quite a bit. And the stock market's interpretation of this is that the Fed is going to likely cut. The market's very optimistic about that. They think there's going to be a September cut finally, and the market looks very, very optimistic, at least so far, which is why we're pumping the way we are. So for now, right, the ironic thing is that despite an increase in core CPI, the market's just continuing to rally, and there's no sign of us stopping quite yet. On top of this, when it comes to President Trump and with what's going on, he's obviously not happy with Jerome Powell. He's trying to tell him to cut again. We'll see what happens, but I do believe Jerome Powell will most likely cut during the next FOMC meeting, as long as we don't get any major data that changes that. As of right now, we're on course to see a cut in September. We'll see just to be safe if that ends up being the case or not. Besides that, I'm not seeing anything else that's too crazy, at least on the news. One last thing is that this is what the earnings calendar looks like. There's not really much coming out so far. It's very, very quiet. So with that being said, let's focus more on the charts. As far as SPY is going, we have this trend line up here, which is a resistance. Just because it's a resistance, it does not mean that we're just gonna, reject off of it. I'm just saying that this is gonna be a resistance right here. We're gonna see if we could hold above 642. If so, we're gonna likely continue to push for 645 to 647 on SPY. We need to balance between 640 and 642 in case we do turn a little bit lower. But nonetheless, we're going to be looking like we want to push higher for 647, 645 to 647. Basically, that's going to be our next range of resistance. If you want to be a bear, you need to see us basically fail right here all the way down towards 638. If we fail there, we could be dipping back down. But as of right now, there's no sign of failure, and the market is actually holding up very, very well. So we're still technically looking more bullish. So for now, the chart's looking bullish, whether we see a 2 point dip before we bounce higher, or if we just keep rallying from here, we're going to see which way we end up going. But nonetheless, the charts still look more bullish. I think we're doing a great job at holding up. So keep that in mind. We're looking bullish, at least thus far. And I think that the odds still favor the upwards direction for SPY. And this is going to help the market actually drag a bit higher. For other tickers out there, we have the QQQ. Give me 1 second, guys. The QQQ is also looking bullish, the triple Q. Basically, we're on a very, very nice uptrend, higher highs and higher lows like this. But we need to lose 576 for us to turn back down. As long as we're above 580, we're favoring an attempt for 585 to 587. We're going to see if 580 breaks or not. We could dip a bit before we try to bounce, but I still favor 585 as our potential target. And nonetheless, we're still looking more bullish, so I still favor the upwards direction. So I think we're still looking very, very solid and very, very strong. So we'll see if the QQQ retests the 580 area or not. But nonetheless, we look like we're going to be going for 585. So whether we come down just a little bit and then start bouncing, or if we just keep rallying from here, we're favoring 585 as our potential target. So with that being said, that's what we're seeing at least thus far. For other tickers out there, we're also looking quite strong. When it comes to essentially the IWM, we're still looking more bullish. We need to essentially lose 226 to turn back down to 223. But I favor that whether we retest the previous high over here and then bounce for like 230, or if we just run from here, we're still favoring 230 as our target on the IWM. For ES, we're looking more bullish. We're continuing to get bought back up. We need to lose basically this 64-60 area to turn more bearish. As long as we either retest that and balance or just hold up from here, we're still favoring a push for 6,500. We're looking bullish and we're favoring 6,500 on ES. As long as you don't lose major support. NQ has the previous all-time high at 23,800. We're going to see if it tests that and bounces, or if it just holds above 24,000 to push for 24,100 plus. We still look more bullish. Bitcoin looks more bullish. As you could tell, we're kind of like reaccumulating. As long as we don't lose 119,000, we're favoring 121,000 plus than 122,000. We're still looking quite good. Tesla, if we end up losing basically 335, we're going to be turning back down, but we're going to see if 340 holds. As long as 340 holds, we're going to be favoring some more upside around this 347 area. We're also trading like this, so I do think Tesla's going to try to push for 345 to 347. We'll see if we turn back down like this before we continue to push higher for like the 350 plus targets. Overall, there's this consolidation before it tries to go higher. As long as we don't lose 335, I still think Tesla's going to be range bound. Might push a bit before it attempts to break out for the 350s, so it's still looking quite solid. Nvidia's range bound between 183 and 181, might be retesting 181, and we'll see if it bounces. Appl needs to hold above 230. If it does, we're looking for 232, then 235. There's a range here, but I think there's upside potential nonetheless. Netflix is looking more bullish. As long as we don't lose 1200, we're actually favoring 1250. For AMD, as long as we don't lose 175, we have an inverse head and shoulders and potential breakout of this bull flag. So we're actually favoring the 180s, 182 to 185. Coinbase has an inverse head and shoulders. As long as we don't end up losing like 321, we're going to be favoring 328 to 333. So we favor the 330s. For Amazon, we're consolidating. We're going to see if we try to break out for 224. Meta, as long as we don't lose 780, we're favoring 800 as our target. Google's favoring 206 to 208, looks more bullish. Microsoft, as long as we don't lose 530, we're favoring 535 as our potential target. And then the VIX is also looking more bearish as the market's looking bullish, at least for the time being. So for now, the market looks more bullish. We're going to play the charts in front of us and be very unbiased. We're going to see if we get some kind of retest of 642 before we try to push for 645 to 647 on SPY, or if we just keep pushing from here and we don't get much of a dip. Same thing with the QQQ. As long as we're above 580, we're going to be favoring 585 plus. We still look more bullish. With that being said, I thank you all for listening. Have a good one and peace out.